Welcome back to the Explainer. Today, we're zeroing in on something that might seem like just a tiny grammatical detail, but honestly, it carries massive weight. If you operate in English, drafting service contracts, writing up non-disclosure agreements, or formalizing corporate org charts, precision is literally your currency. So today, we're mastering advanced relative clauses. Because out there in the business world, a single keystroke can completely alter your legal liability.
Okay, let's dive into this. Look at these two sentences here. They look pretty much identical, right? Just a couple of little commas separating them. But I really want to ask you, which of these clauses legally forces every single employee in the entire company to sign that non-disclosure agreement? Think about it. If you choose the wrong one, you might accidentally leave half your staff totally exempt from confidentiality rules, or suddenly force the night shift janitorial team to sign top-secret clearances. Section 1. Defining versus non-defining clauses.
So to answer our NDA question, we really need to understand the millimetric contrast happening here. First up, defining relative clauses. The golden rule, they contain absolutely essential information. They tell us exactly which person or thing we're talking about. And because this information is strictly necessary to the legal meaning of the sentence, we never, ever use commas. It has to be an unbroken chain of thought. Also, in these clauses, the word that is completely valid instead of who or which, and you can actually even drop the pronoun entirely if it's the object of the clause.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the absolute strictness of non-defining relative clauses. These clauses simply add extra non-essential background information. And because it's just extra, it gets quarantined right between two commas. But listen, here are the ironclad rules for this one. The word that is strictly prohibited. No exceptions. You absolutely cannot say, my boss, that is from London. No way. It must be who. And secondly, the relative pronoun can never be omitted here.
Section 2. Advanced prepositions. Understanding this structure really unlocks higher levels of corporate communication. But what exactly happens when we throw prepositions into the mix? Over on the left, we've got the company I work for. Now, this is perfectly correct standard English for chatting around the water cooler, but in a legally binding contract, you really want to elevate your register. So on the right, we see the advanced structure, the company for which I work. We pull that preposition right to the front. And notice we say for which, not for that. It sounds highly formal, but honestly, that is exactly the tone required in these types of documents.
Section 3. Error Clinic. Spotting mistakes.
All right, let's put this theory to the test with some real-world liabilities pulled straight from learner data. Imagine you get this email from your legal department. The contract that we signed yesterday is now void. Based on the strict rules we literally just went over, can you spot the grammatical error that makes this sentence professionally unacceptable? Take a really close look at the punctuation and the pronoun.
Yep, there it is. Because this is a non-defining clause, which we know because of those commas, the word that is strictly prohibited. It absolutely must be. The contract, which we signed yesterday, is now void. Using that right after a comma is a super persistent error we see in professional writing, and eliminating it instantly upgrades your authority. Okay, let's try another one, focusing purely on punctuation this time. Here's the scenario. Your company has exactly 5 board members, and all 5 of them happen to live in London. Someone drafts the meeting minutes and writes, the board members who live in London will attend. So, what is the liability here? Why is this a massive corporate miscommunication waiting to happen? This brilliantly illustrates the sheer power of a comma. The sentence on the left, without the commas, is a defining clause. It implies there's a much larger group of board members, and only the specific ones living in London are showing up. You've basically just accidentally implied the existence of board members who don't even exist. The sentence on the right, with the commas included, is the correct one. It clearly states that the board members will attend, and hey, by the way, as extra information, they all just happen to live in London. Section 4. The visual challenge. You can see how easily things can go wrong here. Let's move to and see how this builds. Let's look at one final, high-stakes dilemma to really test your mastery. Which clause actually fires the entire department? We've got 2 sentences that are identical in vocabulary, but vastly different in their legal reality. Let's analyze them side by side. The managers who failed the audit will be dismissed. No commas. So this is defining. It means we have a large group of managers, some of them passed, some of them failed. Only the specific individuals who failed are losing their jobs. Fair enough. Now look at sentence 2. The managers who failed the audit will be dismissed. Because it is enclosed in commas, who failed the audit is just extra information about the managers as a whole group. So this sentence legally implies that every single manager failed the audit, and therefore the entire management department is fired.
The difference between firing a few underperformers and wiping out your entire leadership team is literally 2 keystrokes. Just 2 commas. A single comma can change the legal reality of your company. And that is exactly why mastering advanced relative clauses is so much more than just passing some grammar test. It is about precision, control, and absolute clarity in your professional life. So the next time you sit down to draft a crucial document, ask yourself, what reality are your commas creating?